friend Sandie is about to smash another, celebrating 50 years. We close tonight with our own Sandie Renaldo and a full circle moment after a remarkable half a century with CTV. Here's Tom Walters with Sandie's story.
The only child of Holocaust survivors, Sandie Bricks felt a deep sense of responsibility.
I became very protective of my parents.
From an early age, she wanted to shield them from any more pain and make them proud.
How much has that affected the rest of your life?
I think, without a doubt, that desire to make my parents proud shaped me.
She seemed headed for a career in the arts.
I was going to be a dancer on Broadway.
But with family in Toronto and already married to lawyer Michael Renaldo, she turned to another interest, journalism. A week out of university, she took a job answering phones for the head of CTV News and gave him a bold prediction.
One day I'm going to host Canada AM. He laughed, picked himself up off the floor and said, okay, let's see what you can do.
That was 1973, and women were on TV, of course. But there was one thing they could not do.
Women cannot be anchors because their voices don't have credibility.
An attitude so prevalent that at the BBC that year it was actually put in writing. A female voice is considered to lack authority in news reading. Undeterred, Sandie Renaldo was quickly promoted off camera, then auditioned for a job on camera.
Margaret Trudeau, the wife of Canada's Prime Minister.
There was no looking back. She became a reporter.
Sandie Renaldo, CTV News.
And just 3 years later, broke through the glass ceiling.
Sandie has the details.
Thank you, Norm.
The first woman in Canada to be the regular anchor of a network newscast.
Subway service has been shut down.
Of course, the feedback was not always about journalism.
Lots of comments about my various hairstyles as they evolved.
While her hair was a little bigger in those days, so were the telephones. And while news was still shot on film, she could see a big change coming.
The fact that we are now moving into videotape.
Anxious to prove she could be both an anchor and a mother, she worked late into her first pregnancy. And to the alarm of co-host Norm Perry, her contractions started on the air.
And so Norm called for towels to be brought to the newsroom.
Seriously?
I don't know what he would have done.
She had a baby girl the next day. And 2.5 years later, expecting son Noah, she was given a joyful send-off.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you all so much.
Putting her more than ever in the public eye for a private heartbreak.
We lost Noah the day he was born.
Strength came from family. Over time, there would be 3 daughters. And from passion for her work, she was named weekend anchor of CTV National News, while also doing W5 investigations and decades of revealing profiles.
Do you hate giving interviews?
It's very hard for me.
Do you hate this?
No, you're making it very comfortable, thanks.
Disarming, but unflinching.
Hard living, drinking.
Yeah?
She got the famous and powerful to open up about their lives, while remaining private about her own, as far as she could.
Sandie's husband, Michael, died this morning after a brief but heroic battle with lung cancer.
News of another loss to her family prompted Canadians to let her know she had become part of theirs.
Viewers would write to me and share their stories of loss, and I responded. I wrote back. I hand wrote letters back to everyone. Cancer is on the rise.
2 years later, she fought her own battle and defeated breast cancer, but she said nothing until now.
Largely because my father was still alive.
And because she was still the protective daughter.
And my father had been through so much loss, I didn't want to burden him with this.
Both parents are gone now, but they still inspire the work she values most.
And if life is improved for even one person as a result of my investigations, that will make me feel so good.
Now, as she celebrates the start of her 51st year at CTV, it's clear that what Sandie Renaldo was so determined to do for her parents, she has also done for her daughters and granddaughters and generations of colleagues. She has made them proud. Tom Walters, CTV News.
A remarkable woman with a heart of gold. And we will continue to celebrate the incredible milestone tomorrow, which is Sandie's actual anniversary date. And 1 week from tonight, you can watch CTV's special presentation, I'm Sandie Renaldo, a journey of discovery about her family. That's at 9 p.m. next Friday. And we are back here again at the Abbey in just a few short hours for the coronation of King Charles. For all of us here in London and back in our national newsroom, thank you for watching and good night.
He said, can you get down to 42 Charles Street in an hour and have an interview with the head of news, Don Cameron? He needs someone right away. Don Cameron was sitting in his office, and he says, so you want to be in TV? Why should I hire you? And then with the brashness of youth, I said, well, because one day I'll be hosting Canada AM. At which point he laughed, I laughed.
Quebec Premier René Lévesque spoke of a quiet independence.
And then in '77, they held auditions. From that came a job as a reporter at large for Canada AM. And that was my first on-camera role at CTV.
And Sandie, it was on this very day 50 years ago, May 6th, 1973. That was your first day with CTV. Just incredible. And on this golden anniversary, I've got to ask you, what are you thinking about? What's on your mind?
Oh, Omar, I'm thinking that I can't believe that all this time has passed, half a century. I'm a child of the network. I grew up here. I learned on the job. I watched CTV News evolve from male-dominated to an environment of equal opportunity. You know, when we covered big events like the one you covered today, back in the olden days, we would have had to fly the film back to Toronto to be developed before it went to air the next day. So we've changed in so many ways. And Omar, I want to take this moment to thank my family, my daughters, sons, and granddaughters for coming along on this journey with me, and of course, my very talented work family at CTV News.
Sandie, anyone who crosses paths with you is better for it. Your compassion, your curiosity, wisdom, and strength are all an inspiration, and you do it with such tremendous grace, an anchor in the truest sense of that word. Happy anniversary, my friend.
You're going to bring me to tears, Omar. Thank you so much. That's so kind. And I want to take this moment also to thank our viewers. Thank you for sharing your time with me all these many years. For Omar and all of us at CTV National News, good night, stay safe and healthy. Until next time.